Hello, visionary. And welcome to HD Truth Revealed. In this particular live, we're going to be talking about the coronavirus, the fear, the danger that people are feeling, and the 2027 mutation. So I was just checking to see if people could see me and hear me okay. We are trying out going live on YouTube and Facebook. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear me or you can see me okay. So here's the deal. This is what I'm going to be talking about today. When we're talking about the coronavirus, obviously I am not an expert, right? But I am going to be sharing with you a little bit about the 2027 mutation and what is going on with the 2027 mutation. Hey Christopher. Hi, awesome. You can see me. Yay, very cool. I appreciate you letting me know. And tuning in. Yeah, so it's interesting conversation, right? It's interesting what's going on out there. There's a lot of intensity, just an incredible amount of intensity. And so just to let you know, like I said, I'm talking about the coronavirus. I'm going to be talking about the human design 2027 mutation and what that means and why it's important to talk about it, why it's important to see these things together, because there's a lot of fear, a lot of intensity going on right now. If you can feel it, give me a yes. I'm feeling it. I think that there's a lot of confusion out there around this stuff. And like I said, I am not a coronavirus expert, but what I'm going to talk about it in terms of human design, I'm going to provide and shed some insight on this. So the first thing I want to say is welcome to everybody. Welcome to our community. If you're new to our community, it's really wonderful to have you here. The intensity around the coronavirus is really causing a lot of people to question this stuff. And hey, yes, big time. Yeah, exactly. So hey, Vince, mental projector, awesome. I feel the intensity and the anxiety of the collective through my body. Yeah, a lot of people are telling me that. A lot of people are telling me that the projectors, particularly, they're feeling it. If you have an undefined solar plexus, you're going to be feeling it. We're going to be absorbing and amplifying that energy. And so that's why it's really important to know your human design, know how these things are affecting you. It's really, really important right now. I think the most important thing, but I'm a little biased. So the first thing I want to talk about is this coronavirus, and then I'm going to talk about it in terms of the 2027. The first thing I want to say is this. The only thing we know for sure is that people are freaking out, right? So if I look outside, I don't see people who are sick. I don't see it in my neighborhood, right? But what I do see is that people are freaking out. And what that means is that we have to have compassion, because there are certain populations that are more vulnerable than other populations, period. That we know. There are certain people that just carry the virus that have no symptoms. So it's a little bizarre. So we do need to have compassion that people who have a weak immune system and people who are elderly or have any kind of issues like that, they're more at risk. And so compassion is the greatest gift we can give humanity at any time, but particularly now. Also, economically, the socioeconomic ramifications of what's happening is very real. People are not going to restaurants. They're not going to schools. They're not going out. A lot of events are canceled. So people who have any type of industry that's going to be affected financially, they're going to feel it, and it's going to be intense. And so we have to have compassion for that situation as well if you're financially vulnerable. So these are all the things that are very real, that are being affected by people right here, right now. I do know that the most important thing that we can do is our inner climate, our inner world, right? That's the only thing we can control. We do know that fear actually affects the cortisol, and it actually weakens our immune system. So we do know that taking an inner inventory of what's happening with your world inside your reality is the only thing you can control. We're all feeling the intensity, and so we all have a choice of how we are going to be exhibiting that, right? So how we're going to be integrating that and holding that within. So I'm going to take a couple breaks to read chats as we go. But please put them in, please comment, please share what's coming up for you. Please let me know your experience. Sharing is really important, even if you're listening to the recording, what you're witnessing in your neighborhood. So I loved Christopher's picture of the his stores in his neighborhood. It's like, oh my God, that was so crazy, right? So share with us a little bit about what's happening for you in your communities. We'd really love to know. I got to be honest with you. I am outside walking my dog and it looks like a totally normal day. So I work from home. So I have kind of an insulated situation, but everybody's very different, which is why I really want us to, as a collective, and as you guys know, I'm really into my community, sharing this stuff, bringing everybody together and providing compassion for what we're all going for what we're all going through. Okay. So it's really important to share. So let us know what's happening for you. Rose says, I'm a 6'2" generator and I'm on the roof at this time. So it's kind of actually aligned for you to be isolated, right? So that's actually that's a good thing, so welcome, Rose. Good to have you. And welcome everybody who's here live. So there again, we are dealing with a global and collective intensity. So I'm sure 100% we're all experiencing that. So even when I walk outside and I'm like, okay, everything looks normal, it doesn't feel normal. People are nervous at the stores, and you can feel there's anxiety around people, and that is palpable. And anyone who has any open centers, which we all do have some, we're going to feel that, absorb it, and amplify it. We're all connected, right? I love Davidian's video, if you haven't seen it yet, about the penta and the homogenizing force. So in other words, anytime you're around three people, you're going to be homogenized by that energy. So that is a very real force. Now let's talk about this 2027 mutation. This is really important, okay? What they say is that the rave chart moves and the rave wheel moves in 400-year cycles, okay? So we are moving towards an entirely new cycle. This is the 2027, and they call it the mutation. Some people say an entirely new species is going to be born, and I'm not going to predict anything about what's going to happen. I'm going to just share with you the human design shift that we're seeing in the 400-year cycle. And then you can see if you're seeing that in what's happening now, because I definitely do. And then you can work through it in ways that feel correct for you. So the most important thing to know is this is happening. The main area that is breaking down is the 4037. Okay, so 4037, which is, if you guys don't know in human design, I'm going to show you a chart. And the 4037, whoops, let's see if I can point this out right here. This is the channel 4037, and that is what we're shifting out of. Okay. Let me explain to you what that 4037 is all about. That is tribal. All about our tribe is the best. So it's really intense tribal energy. It is about the planning, which is where all of the banks were born, capitalism was born, all of the governments were all 400 years. Okay, 400 years of planning. So that's like 1615, I think, is when it started, and it's ending 2027. Sorry if my math is off, but you get it. That's a big chunk of time where we built capitalism, where we built the banks, and where, so if you have that channel, you may start to be really questioning tribal rule, for you, because what it is that the tribal 4037, what that's all about is like, it has a lot to do with religion too, like, and believe me, in the tribal um arena that we've been in, it the the table, the tribal table, not everyone is welcome at the table. Okay, not everyone is welcome at the table, particularly when you're talking religion, when you're talking about my country, you're talking about my um exclusive private school for my children, like my family, my religion is better than your religion. You're seeing all of this in the 400-year cycle that we are leaving. And so it's going to really bring up the religion stuff, the tribal stuff, the what's happening in our countries. And we're seeing that is what we are seeing. We're also seeing the breakdown of the system. Okay, we don't trust our news. We don't trust what we're getting about the coronavirus. We don't trust the hospitals, right? First of all, what's happening here in the US is that they're not administering tests because the tests are so expensive and the insurance companies don't want to pay for it. So people are carrying this stuff, they're not being tested, and I don't know what's going to happen. This is just what I've heard. Obviously, I don't know this for a fact, but I do know that the systems are breaking down. That is what I see in human design, and that is what I'm seeing with this, is that there's a system breakdown. And so what happens during the change, and according to human design, according to Ra Urahu, okay, um and Ra, Ra's explanation of what's going to happen, okay, he thinks everything is going to totally break down. And this is kind of the beginning of that. Not that he's alive now, but if he were here, that's what he would probably be saying, right? Because we're going to start seeing systematically those people that are more vulnerable being threatened with this stuff. Hey, Keiko, you made it. Awesome. Hey, Mike. Enjoying the controlled experiment, can't plant without time running our lives. Right. So it's interesting how to deal with this stuff. Okay. So uh so Christopher says, my neighborhood is now flipping out. I work from home as well. So yeah, I think a lot of neighborhoods are really freaking out. Would you guys agree? A lot of people are really freaking out about this stuff. So, what we're seeing in this shift of this cycle, right? The 4037 shifting, is that we're moving from this era, the age of planning, where we relied on these outer governing bodies, our political system, our presidents, our priests, our doctors. We safely relied on them to know more than us, and we gave over our authority to create a lot of these dynamics that we're now seeing breaking down. Okay. So when we shift in 2027, which we're already seeing the breakdown, if you look around, we do not trust our leaders. We do not trust religion. We do not trust the hospitals, really, and so we really, So I'm going to talk about this and why I think this is so different. Why I think this virus is so different is I think it has a lot to do with the fact that our my camera just went totally blurry. That's bizarre. Did it go blurry for you guys, or is that just me? Um my camera just went totally blurry. That is totally bizarre. If it did, I'm really apologizing. I don't know why that just happened. Anyways, I think it has a lot to do with this notion of that is so bizarre. Okay, I think it has a lot to do with the notion of the antibiotics that that there's a mutation. Okay, there's a mutation happening, and this is exactly what human design is saying with 2027 is there is a mutation. It's a change, okay? So what that means is that we are not there's strains and viruses that we cannot use our antibiotics, and we don't have the wherewithal to fight the antibiotic because our bodies are having resistance to the antibodies. Okay. So that's going to have a far greater ramification in the future, according to some people. Obviously, I'm not an expert in that. I'm not going to state that. You can still see me. Thank you, Keiko. Okay, maybe it's just my glasses or something, or my vision just blurred. All right. So thank you for letting me know. So the antibiotics, that's why we're having resistance. And so people are the viruses are so strong that we don't have anything to fight them. And so a lot of people feel that that's going to be a far greater problem down the line when we have resistance to all of the medications and the antiviruses that the antibiotics from overuse and from big pharma and all of that. Oh, it is blurry. Okay, it is blurry. That is just weird. I'm just going to see if I can, whoops. I'm just 1 second, want to check my camera if I can fix it. It usually autofocuses. That is just bizarre. Okay. Sorry guys. Right, exactly. So, but the thing is that even if there is a vaccine in the works, right? If we're if humanity is creating a resistance to these antibiotics, we're going to see this happen in a lot of different stages. And I don't know if that's true, but that's what people are saying. But the most important thing I want to talk about is this shift from the 2027 and the 4037, which is where we're going to be partly broken, where it's going to break down and where we're leading to. So, where we're leading to primarily is going to happen in the gate 10. And if you guys know human design and you know anything about gate 10, what gate 10 is all about is self actualization. It is individual awareness, individual insight. And that is called what we're moving towards is the era of the individual. And so, what we really want to empower in each one of you and during these times is that we are reclaiming our authority back from where we have abdicated our control to big pharma, to the government, to our doctors, to our priests. And we're taking that control back and we're seating ourselves with the empowerment of our own inner authority. And what we're saying in relation to human design is as all of these changes are going to be happening, that there are systems going to be breaking down, whether it's the stock market, whether it's a different type of health crisis, or whether the banks or whatever is going to go down, that according to human design in the next 7 years there's going to be a structural change because there's a mutative force, a pressure to mutate, a pressure for humanity to change. And so change is good, but change is also scary. And so in the face of change, we have a choice of how we're going to hold ourselves within our own consciousness. And what human design is saying is that this intel empowers you to make your own decisions and your own choices, and it pulls the power back into your body. So if you know what is correct for you, you will survive and you will thrive. When you know what's true for you, you know the right direction for your life, and you will be able to stand in that place throughout the cyclone, the center, right? The eye of the hurricane. You will be able to stand in that place where you are empowered. And that is the message that I really want to stand on today, is to let you all know that in the midst of this pandemic, when everything feels like there's no control, we have no real understanding, there's a lot of confusion, we don't know what's going to happen economically, we don't know whether we're going to be able to take our flights next week. What we do know is that within us we do have power. We do have power inside of ourselves, right? To choose, to stay calm, to know that within us throughout the day, we have the inner knowing of what is correct for us, right? Mike Hess says S and A carries the day. Ooh, I love that. That's awesome. 1-3 emotional projector, cross of tension here. Oh, interesting. An emotional projector with that cross of tension. Very interesting. Hi, everyone. Much love. So good to have you guys here. I want to welcome you all to this community, and I do want you guys to know that my intention is to continue to provide a space where we are coming together, because I do believe we need to have informative insight with love and with healing, and with the intention to know that when we come together with people who are sharing the same vision, the same mindset, we can hold a penta and a collective space that is healing, that is empowering, that is providing a sense of security and safety, that you have within you what you need to weather all of the storms. And so this is an intense time. It is happening through the era of the individual, which is going to be birthing in 2027. Things are going to be shifting. And the way through is to know that the era of the individual is all about empowering each and every person to be their unique self, to operate correctly as themselves without the system, without anyone telling them what to do, without the hierarchy of control, meaning I tell you what to do and you follow me. So what we're saying here is, no, do not let anyone tell you what to do. You trust what is correct for you throughout this whole pandemic. What do you need, right? Yes, that feels best. Knowing you have your own inner guidance, you can only trust and be yourselves. Doesn't that feel good, Vince? Right? It's empowering. It's deeply, deeply empowering. And I'm telling you, in the next 7 years, when more and more chaos and more systems start to break down, there's an inner knowing that needs to be found within each one of you. And we need to broadcast that, and broadcast that you're safe within yourself, and that, yes, change is coming, and that we're going to make it through the change. Now, of course, I do believe that knowing this human design intel is the most important thing on the planet right now. That is me. Obviously, I'm biased. It changed my life, and I do believe it will change all of your lives and the lives of all of your clients and all of your family when you really know this stuff and really study this stuff. And so I am extending an invitation if anyone feels like they want to use this time to go deeper and to really study this stuff and go deeper into the intel, because that's what I do. That's how I take you through this process. So this is an invitation. If you do want to go deeper, we don't open our doors to our certification often. If you feel like I need to know this stuff and I need to live it and I need to really embody it, it's an invitation. You can email us at support@raquelreina.com. We are taking a group through the certification course. I do think it's the best thing you can do right now is study about yourself, about your own empowerment, and really embody this stuff. Obviously, we have a ton of free videos also. We have a new video coming out. We're going to have 2 videos coming out next week about how to stay in the center and how to really embody this stuff. But if you really want to go deeper into the certification and teach it and be a leader of this stuff, we are opening the doors. I think I have a couple spots left for those of you who really want to go deeper with the intel as well. So with that, I'm going to check in with the chat. If anyone has any questions or anything they want to talk about with the 2027, about what's going on with the human mutation, I do have a video I will put in the description as well that details the breakdown a little bit more. But if you're listening to the recording, you're listening to this video, put your questions in the chat as well. I'm going to go back. I'm going to read through them. I'm going to connect with you guys. Also, I do want to hear about your stories, about what's happening. I did have a great chat that I didn't get to finish reading, so I'm going to go back for 1 second and read it. So hold on 1 second. So Christopher wrote, he wrote about his neighborhood that they're flipping out, and at least 5 administrations, non-political, comment, and my family knew about the virus back in November. My son's grandparents made fun of my son and I for stocking up in November, and now they're just screaming at the television these days. My bandmates have told me in similar comments something is happening that they didn't believe in. So yeah, it is a very interesting process of like, and I do have to say, like, Davidian, really, he's the one who got us secure with all of the materials. And he really got us safe, and like we were all stocked up because of him. I am definitely on the more woo side. But it is good to make sure that you follow your own inner knowing and really make sure that you trust yourself. And of course, your immune system through meditation, through superfoods, super herbs, probiotics, these types of things. This is, I think, what's going to hold us really strong. The other thing, and what I started this video with, is compassion. Compassion for humanity, compassion for those people that are struggling with their immune systems, that are more vulnerable, and also to those people whose industries are vulnerable to the economic downturn. So we want to hold that place and come together. I think that what I feel the most is people afraid of each other on the streets and in the stores, like, don't touch me. And there's like this sense of like, and what I really would love to hold here in our community for all of you here live and for everybody who's in the community. And thank you for loving the videos, Howling Wolf. Mwah. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys here live and everybody in the recording and all of our community. And you guys are all so amazing. Like, the most amazing comments, the most amazing love, the most amazing support and insights. And I just really love it so much. I love building that community and providing that space for everybody. So I do want you to know that we are holding that, coming together. We are here to support that vision and to support the calm in the middle of this storm. So, yeah, can you talk about the spleen and health? Yeah, good questions. Good questions. So, those people. So, I think that for example, Davidian has an undefined spleen. So he has a little bit more of the vulnerability. He's a little more sensitive than those people, according to human design, those people who have a defined spleen. And you can see that here in the chart. Let's see, on this side, where am I? Right here. So if you have a defined or undefined spleen, you are going to be more sensitive to the making sure that you have a very high immune system when you are and there's a lot to this. It's complicated, but it's a great question. because the undefined spleen is also the medical intuit. They also can see the future of health. And they actually are healers oftentimes. But if they're in their not self theme, they're going to be absorbing and amplifying sort of the unhealthy expressions of fear and of illness. And so it's just really good to know thyself, know where your vulnerabilities are, and know where your sensitivities are. You may be a little bit more vulnerable with an undefined spleen, and also going out into the public, you may be more vulnerable in your immune system than other people, more vulnerable to the fear because you're absorbing and amplifying it. So really good question, Keiko. The health of the collective you can feel. Exactly. Right, exactly. And, and sometimes you can sense where the illness is coming from, and, so it's really also the deconditioning, with that undefined health so that you can find out what is really what you need for your own body. And so of course, also if you're a projector, you have a low energy as it is. So it's really important to make sure that you're hyper vigilant as well in that area with health. Because, see, projectors are constantly burning themselves out and getting sick and having all kinds of illnesses showing up, not really knowing how those illnesses are showing up in their bodies, right? So it's really important for them to be hyper vigilant about their own health. Did you speak about projectors during this time? Did we just like literally have a psychic moment, Mecca McLeod? I think we did, because I was literally just saying that as you were typing that in. So reflectors are doing with all of this there. That's such a great question. And I wonder, do we have a reflector on this call? And if not, then if we have a reflector listening to this recording, I would love to hear from you, your reflection of what's going on, because that's what reflectors are here to do. They're here to reflect the health of the culture. And I would imagine that any reflector is really experiencing the intensity, and hopefully they're in an environment where they're able to feel good and feel healthy themselves, and create that, because that's the most important for them, to be in the right environment that reflects their health. Right. So I'm sure that it's intense, and I would love to hear from anyone who's a reflector here what you're experiencing, and hear from you. So projectors, yeah, I mean, and we're really vulnerable because the projectors are like have a straw, so their aura is literally sucking in the environment and sucking in the toxicity. So for me, and I have caves in my environment too. So actually for me, being in my own little crystal cave here and sharing with you guys is really correct for me as a projector. But it's also just really, I think it's smart to stay in your own energy field right now, protecting yourself from the fear, also the confusion, the fear, the chaos, the pandemonium, and really staying inside your own. This is a good time to study. It's a good time to create, right? Create an online business. I think it's a good time to really go inside. So Vince, I actually, in my design, if you divide your chart into your personality and your design, you tease them apart. They say that your personality is who you think you are, and design is who you really are. So I don't know if you've done that, but my design is a reflector, and I've been really feeling that lately. It's a complicated topic on human design. If you guys know human design, you're a little more advanced, you might know what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you want to know more, like I said, jump in our courses. They're so good for you right now. And the reason I can sell it is because I truly do believe that it is the most important thing you can do for yourself right now, is study and to go inside and to integrate this stuff into your lives. So if you guys feel the calling at all, join us. I really highly recommend it. So I'm going to leave it there. Great comments, great feedback. Please keep the comments coming. Let me know what's going on for you guys. I'm going to try and show up live as much as I can, to connect and to really support everybody in empowering you. You are the light. you have your own inner authority that is going to base the correct choices, the correct alignment for you. And what I want to do is empower you to know that you are your own guru. Do not abdicate your knowing to anyone else. You know what's correct for you. You know what's right. And if you're absorbing a lot of the fear and the pain and the panic, that is the collective. Our natural state is the satisfaction, is the success, is the awe, is the peace. That is what we're meant to be. So find that inside yourself and know that that is your truth. Okay? Mwah. Thank you guys for being here. Please share this video, share the word, and let's be aligned and connected. Stay beautiful, stay empowered, and unleash your genius. Mwah. Thank you, Vince. Thank you so much. Bless you guys.